Hello and welcome. This is another Commander deck tech, this time for an upcoming commander from the Lorwyn Eclipsed set, Eirdu, Carrier of Dawn, and this is a flip card, so I'm going to be making two videos. This video is going to be more of the casual Storm, Orzhov Creature Storm deck, and the other video is going to be the CEDH version. So if you like this one, feel free to take a look at the other one. This commander, like I said, is new. It is Orzhov, even though it is only white on the front side. You have to pay black to flip it on the other side. So that gives it the Orzhov identity. It is Eirdu, Carrier of Dawn, 3 white, 5/5, flying lifelink. Pretty great rate. Creature spells you cast have Convoke. At the beginning of your main phase, you may pay black. If you do, transform Eirdu. Turns into Isilu, Carrier of Twilight. Same stats, 5/5 flying lifelink, but it gives your non-token creatures persist. And then you can, at the beginning of your first main phase, pay white to flip it back. So this is a card that you can flip back and forth once a turn during your first main phase. So one turn you can have it on, it always starts on this side, but you can pay black to flip it on the other side. So this is a creature storm deck is what I'm calling it. And the reason that that works for this commander is because it allows you to sort of play a whole bunch of creatures, because each creature helps you play your next creature, because they all have Convoke. And a really cool thing about Convoke is that you can pay for the colored mana of spells using your creatures. So if you have a white creature, you can tap it to pay for the white mana cost of your next creature. So this deck is full of little creatures. Let's look at the mana curve here. Yeah, very, very high. 24 2-drops, 22 3-drops. So the plan is to just storm off by playing a whole bunch of these little creatures, and then they can tap right away. Because Convoke it's not like a mana dork ability. It is just you're paying for the cost by tapping the creature. So you can drop down a Wall of Omens and then tap it along with Eirdu to play a Spirited Companion. And they'll just keep drawing you cards, allowing you to draw more creatures, keep playing your creatures. Boom, 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 boom. So this is, like I said, the casual version of the deck. So we are going to be avoiding the many, many simple infinite combos that come with this commander. Because this side, yeah, they have Convoke. It allows you to storm off. The other side gives them Persist, which is a very easy ability to go infinite with, because of cards that give your creatures +1/+1 counters. So we are avoiding those, keeping this sort of a bracket 3 deck. But even without combos, we can still really go crazy here because of all the creatures we're playing, storming off, and we have cards that trigger whenever a creature enters or whenever we cast a creature, like Oltec Matter Weaver. So whenever we cast a creature spell, we can make a gnome. So if you think about that, let's go back to Wall of Omens. You play a Wall of Omens, you get a gnome. So you have two creatures, a colorless creature, and a white creature. So you've played Wall of Omens, you've drawn your card, it's completely replaced itself, and now you have creatures that can tap to play your next creature. So if you have one of these token makers out, it allows you to just keep storming off. And then you're filling up your board with creatures, and you're going to be able to do all kinds of stuff with that. Especially if you've had a turn where you've really stormed off, a card like God Eternal Ketra does the same thing, except you make these 4/4 black zombies. So you're going to have this huge board of these black zombies. And then the next turn, you can flip Eirdu into Isilu, and they all have Persist all of a sudden. So you've played all of them on one turn. Next turn, you can sacrifice all of them to sort of double dip on all of that. So you sacrifice all of them. You get their ETBs again because they come back with Persist, even if they die immediately, because they have a -1/-1 counter. So if you play this this really cute dog here, you draw a card, it kind of replaces itself. Then turn after, it has persist. You could sacrifice it to draw another card, and just continue sort of that storm, except this time on the opposite side. It's like two sides of there's the twilight and the dawn. The dawn is your creatures entering, twilight is your creatures dying. Um, and then you just keep on getting more and more value from this huge army, and then even you can flip back. So I think one thing that playtesting this card, I hesitate to flip back, but I think it's actually pretty great because you could just keep flipping back and forth. If you don't win the game quite yet on Isilu, you can flip back to Eirdu and keep deploying stuff. So you really like want to look when you're prompted with this trigger, when it's your first main phase, you can even draw a card, assess the situation, see how many creatures you've got. If you've got enough good death triggers, if you've got enough good sacrifice outlets, sure, you could flip it, or you can just keep it on this side. Same with this side. If you've deployed a bunch of stuff, you can keep it. But if you've still got more stuff you want to play, if you want to keep storming off, you could pay the mana to flip back. So both sides of this card are going to be really good in this deck. And yeah, the two arms is a little bit of a cute card here because it untaps all your creatures. So it sort of does a little bit of a paradox engine. I can't remember what that card is called, but untaps all of your mana dorks, which Eirdu turns all your creatures into mana dorks, kind of, to allow you to play them all again. So it's sort of like a big ritual effect on the white side, but then on the black side, you've flipped back. You have a huge army of tokens and or little 1/1s. What do you do now? Your win conditions here are either going to be just having a huge army and sort of crashing through with a card like McKindy Stampede, um, or just having so many tokens that you can attack face, or playing a card like Maw of the Obsidian. Sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. If you have enough creatures, you could sacrifice a bunch of them to make the other ones really, really big. I think this card costs a lot of mana, but it is a free sack outlet, and it is both colors, which means it can tap for any creature you want using that Convoke ability. I think if there's any deck where this card is going to work, it's going to be this one. It's like I said, free sack outlet, a little bit hard to come by. There's some really good ones, of course, like where is that? Woe Strider. Really great upgrade for this deck is Phyrexian Altar as a free sack outlet, but we're taking what we can here at the lower price range. So the one way to win is just with overwhelming tokens, huge board, go wide. Another way is with storm, actual storm cards, because this is a creature storm deck. So you cast all these creatures, and you play Tendrils of Agony. Target player loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. It has storm. This is going to take a while. This is going to take a lot of casting and recasting. But I think in this deck, you can actually get to a big enough number where you'll maybe kill one player, and then you'll be at such a high life total that you'll be able to just keep going, survive into your next big storm. Reaping the Graves brings your whole board back, allows you to just keep going, allows you to recover from board wipes. Murmuration, a very fun card. I think this is like the quintessential storm card for this deck because it makes these tokens, and like it storms with Stormcrows. So you make all these 2/3s with vigilance and flying for each card you played. So you just build up this huge board. Gandalf White Rider doesn't actually have storm, but I'm sort of counting this because it says whenever you cast a spell, creatures you control get +1/+0, and you scry 1. I think this card's a little bit slept on. It does cost a lot of mana, but with a huge board, it's just going to be able to really bring things over the top. You're going to be able to attack with all of these little gnomes, or even these big 4/4 zombies, and they're going to be huge with Gandalf. But the best of these storm cards is probably Tempest Technique, because of the way that it sort of exponentially works. So it's got Storm, enchanted creatures get +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. So for each spell you cast, you get another Tempest technique. So you can just fill your board with Tempest techniques. You can either throw them all on one creature, you can throw them all on Eirdu, or you can split them up among all your creatures, and then it's going to exponentially get bigger. So if you got if your Storm is 8, if you've played 8 cards, which is not too hard, later in the game, it's not too hard, you get 9 Tempest techniques. So each one is going to be +9/+9. It's really just like a big crater hoof effect then, because you can throw that on your whole board. You can have 9/9s, probably going to be able to win with that. So being a Storm deck here, another way to go here is you could sort of go more aristocrats. I cut quite a bit of those just to make room for some of these these little dudes, these little like clattering augur. Oh, and enters the battlefield, draw a card and lose life. There's like 10 of these guys. Absolutely love them. But filling the board with these things, you can also use aristocrats, like I said, especially because you can double dip with the aristocrats if you have persist. So you could sacrifice all your creatures twice, get 2 of those death triggers for Elias. This is the only one I left in just because it's so good. It's 2 colors, you gain a bunch of life no matter what, and then you can sack all your creatures twice to have each opponent lose 2 life for each creature. So yeah, that's another direction you can go. I feel like that's a little bit overdone. There's a whole bunch, like you can play Teysa Karlov to do that instead. I feel like this creature is interesting because of this Convoke, because of this like Storming capability, and you just keep getting all these ETBs. I even have Panharmonicon in this deck because it lets you double dip on all of these, like Helpful Hunter, another cute little guy that enters and draws a card. So you'll draw 2 cards from Helpful Hunter. And then yeah, all this like card advantage. Some of it's based on like, oh, you're playing a bunch of creatures. You could Second Sunrise, bring them all back. Rumor Gatherer, you're gonna get that second resolution to draw a card pretty often. Plumb the Forbidden, you sack your whole board, get all your creatures back with Persist, and then draw that many cards. Same with God Eternal Bantu, and this one's even great because you can give it Persist, so then you can get this ability again if you want. So lots of card advantage just because this deck I want to just keep going, not be stopped by like running out of these cards because they do kind of like they're just 1/1s. So you need to like play as many cards as you can because all your cards are so small and not very good. But when you get enough of them together, they just create a big wall. And it's a similar thing to my wheels deck where I am like cutting some of these disruption pieces. I only have 7. I even only have 9 ramp. But I think because of all the draw and all the sort of like sifting through my deck, I should be able to draw these. Oh yeah, some interesting ramp pieces here. Crowded Crypt. If you get this big enough, you have this huge board of decaying zombies. Because every time a creature dies, you put a counter on it, and then you can pay 6 mana to make that many decaying zombies. So you might be able to get this up to like 40, or not 40, 20. Swing somebody for 40. Not too difficult. That's also just a mana rock. Oketra's Monument, another one of these token things. This card's really good because it makes your commander cost less, and then whenever you cast any creature spell, you make a 1/1 warrior, and it is white, so you can just again go through those 2 mana creatures that draw a card real quick with this. Soldevi Adnate. I count this as ramp. It's a little bit. It's only ramp if you have a black creature or an artifact creature. You could tap it to sack a creature, get black equal to its casting cost. Really great if you've got the persist going because then the creature just comes right back. And another thing about this persist thing, you could make this like a board wipe deck just because your creatures have persist, so they'll come back after board wipes. Like if you vanquish the horde or toxic deluge, All your creatures will have persist, except for Isilu themselves here. They won't have persist. So you want to play cards that can like keep Isilu around, like Toxic Deluge. You can X=4, wipe the board, keep Isilu around. Your board comes back, get a whole bunch of triggers, really, really good. Or this Deadly Vanity. You choose Isilu, you destroy all the others. All your creatures come back. Yeah, very, very interested in this deck. I think the competitive version of this is stacks and combos, which I do love. I do love a stacksy combo deck involving tons and tons of creatures. So I'll be making that video available right when this video comes out. So go ahead and take a look at that if you want. Some of the upgrades for this deck, keeping it out of that CDH range, but just playing with really expensive sort of aristocratsy ETB type cards, like Phyrexian Tower allows you to get more mana and is sort of a sack outlet on land, or Moonshaker Cavalry, the white Craterhoof Behemoth. Really, really great in this deck. Is going to win you the game probably on the spot every time you play it. Elish Norn, better Harmonicon, I would say, because it is a creature, so you can tap your creatures to play it when it's convoked. This is sort of a Delny deck because all your creatures are so tiny, so they all get unblockable, they double trigger. But this card is $45. But if you happen to have it lying around, throw it in this deck for sure. It's a perfect card. Bolas' Citadel is the game changer that you want for this deck. Just allows you to keep storming off from the top of your deck. And Appa. Appa is both a protection piece and a storm piece, because you can airbend all your cards, play them all again, re-trigger those ETBs, even get these white allies, which you can use for your big go white token strategy. Yeah, really, really like this card. Can't wait for Lorwyn Eclipsed. Should be a really sweet set. I love the sort of lore of Lorwyn. These elemental gods. I wonder if they're going to make more of these for other color combinations. These two already seem really, really good. Interesting look into sort of the Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, Morningtide sort of style here. And I like love the art on these things. Like what even is this thing? It doesn't even have a face. Really scary. Should be scary to your opponents too. Yeah, thanks for watching, and take a look at that CDH deck if you want. Peace.